Hello and welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Louis Taylor. I'm a composer and a producer based in the UK, and today I wanted to start a new series called What Makes Music Great, where I'll be delving deeper into the world of soundtracks and composers to work out in a little bit more detail what makes the music truly great. Today we'll be exploring the musical genius of House of the Dragon. So as you can hear, the music is simply stunning, and I think that the composer Ramin Djawadi has done an excellent job at conveying a really powerful and emotional score to the audience. I feel like one factor for this is the suitability of the themes for each of the characters. He's crafted a unique and powerful theme for each one of the characters, and I think that it really helps convey the emotions that they're experiencing and the journey that they go through. Take, for example, the theme for Alicent Hightower, and it's kind of a theme for her, but also a little bit more her family. I'm just going to give you a little demonstration on the piano, and you can hear a bit about this theme. So this theme for Alicent Hightower starts off with this really bold, dark, brooding music. And it's there to kind of reinforce what's going on in the scene, but the overall melody is very fitting for the character. I feel like there's certain elements to the melody which carry a sort of seriousness and also a kind of brooding nature, as I say, where there's kind of plans being made, and in the context of the character in the scene, it just fits so well because of the way that she's kind of plotting to, gradually actually, not so much plotting, but turning into a character which starts to really take advantage of the power that she really holds in a sort of sinister way in some respects, but in a sort of dominant way that's trying to take over the king. One thing that I really feel carries a lot of weight are these really low end bass notes that shift us through to the next phrase. And also, I feel like there's these really cool notes which kind of just hang over the top of the chords as they change in a sort of suspension-y type of way, and they add this real element of tension, and I think that that's perfect for the scene. If you don't know, I think you should really go and watch the series, but you'll know what I mean if you've seen it. So overall, I think that this theme just fits the character so incredibly well, and it really goes to show how well suited Ramin Djawadi is for this show, and overall how good he is himself at kind of writing themes for characters. It just fits perfectly. So we've established that Ramin Djawadi is very, very, very good at creating incredibly suitable themes for the characters in the show, which is one of the biggest reasons why it's such a genius soundtrack. But another reason why I think that this is the case is because of the sensitivity that he brings to the show as well. And what I mean by this is that sometimes he'll take a theme and he'll really develop it quite heavily to kind of basically be more sensitive surrounding the context of the scene. which fits into a more broader issue of being able to write music that fits the scene really well, but I'm going to go into that later as well. And one of the ways that he changes the music to make it more sensitive is, in a great example, is called Damon and Rhaenyra. This theme is basically about the two of the main characters in the show who end up basically being the kind of pivotal characters in the whole thing. And what happens is they get together, and the theme of Rhaenyra slowly develops into something which is a lot more sensitive as they kind of develop their romance, and it kind of turns into this really, really beautiful theme. And what we have is this really nice intro to start with. And once we finish that intro, it develops into the kind of rest of the theme that you really start to hear the melody shine through. But before I go on to that, I just want to show you what the melody sounds like, in its original context. So a little bit about that, a little bit of a more upbeat, kind of beautiful, strong, bold melody that comes through in the earlier episodes of the show. So now that you've heard that, I'm going to give you a little bit of taste into what the song Damon and Rhaenyra sounds like, and kind of how it's developed. So I'll just play that for you now. As you can tell, a really, really beautiful piece of music with lots of incredible harmony. The music really, really tells the story very well, and it starts to slow down the theme. It takes much longer to shift the chords. There's not as much rhythm happening. It's very, held notes over the top of the chord, underneath the melody as the chord changes, and you also have this really nice shift to this D flat chord, and it's kind of unexpected. And then later on you have this shift to this really nice B flat chord. And it sounds really kind of uplifting and positive, but in a sensitive way. And then to add to that, you've got these really nice sort of bass notes that are moving by step in the bass, which kind of just create this really nice warm, tense sound that kind of feels momentous. And I really feel like the use of the first inversion chord, where you have the third in the bass, really adds to the overall kind of romanticism of the sound. It's not so simple as having the C and a C minor chord. When you have that E flat there, you almost half expect it to go to an E flat major chord, as it has done in the past, but it goes to the C minor chord with an E in the bass, E flat in the bass, and it just sounds so nice. So, we've established that he can be incredibly sensitive with the music. The music also happens to fit the scene incredibly well all throughout the show. It's completely stellar. And one of the best pieces in the whole soundtrack, in my opinion, is called The Protector of the Realm. And it's this incredible, powerful moment when the king, who is sort of incredibly frail, ill, and old, and essentially on death's door. And you, by the way, you see this king develop throughout the series from this kind of strong character who is kind of well loved by the people, well loved by his family, but maybe isn't quite well suited to the role of being a king as his predecessor, but he's trying his best, and you kind of get this wholesome vibe from him. But he really kind of turns into this force to be reckoned with, and there's this really amazing moment where it seems like kind of one of the political sides of this family is sort of winning. They're gaining control over the sort of empire that they're running, and things are going well for them, and then suddenly it gets disrupted by the king's entrance, and they completely do not expect this because he's very ill, and he just walks through the doors, and they announce his name. It's amazingly powerful, and this music plays, and I'm just going to start with the intro, which is a very sort of tense. As they're announcing his name, it's like, what's going on here? Well, you can see all the family are like, what's going on? And basically it sounds like this. So you've got this really nice G chord happening here, and instead of moving up to the A major chord, it goes down to this. It does go to the A major chord, but instead of doing it in the root position, it goes to that kind of more frail first inversion chord, which just adds to that whole frail environment, but also the tension that's happening between the two sides of the political spectrum within this family. So I'll just play you the rest of the piece, and you can kind of hear how it sounds. So, obviously, amazingly stunning music. I'm probably not doing it enough justice on the piano, but as it goes through the piece, there are so many of these really, really strong chords that get basically derailed by these first inversion chords, and it just adds that tension, that bite to the music that you would otherwise lack, and it also allows the bass to move smoothly down, even chromatically sometimes, and that really kind of adds to the whole tense vibe of the scene. It just fits it perfectly, you know. Just those little choices make such a big difference in the music to the overall emotional effect. You also have these really nice kind of suspensions which are left unresolved sometimes, that just crunch into the music and again add to the tension. One final note I'd like to make about this is to add to the power, he's really kind of going into this harmonic minor feel, which has all of these really nice rich major chords in contrast, and one of the most powerful moments that it gets to is it eventually reaches the sort of subdominant chord, which is A major, which then leads back to the dominant of D major, and that kind of shift up to that with the first inversion in the bass, and then moving down finally, which he hasn't really done yet, to that A is just sublime, and it really adds to that punch. The music continues to kind of unravel in this really nice, well-written string progression, And I won't go too much into that now, but the idea is that it just carries the tension throughout the scene as the scene goes on, and as he walks and makes his entrance and walks through the hall before it finally resolves, and it's just a stellar piece of writing, and that's it really. I mean, you've got the sensitivity, you've got the suitability for the characters, and you've got the writing that fits the scene, and he does all of that to the max. I mean, it's just stunning music. So I really recommend you listen to the soundtrack. I really, really recommend that you watch the show. It is amazing. So I don't know about you, but this soundtrack really feels like a testament to the skill of the composer. They have very convincingly composed a really powerful score, and it fits the show so perfectly. It's almost unbelievable. This has been what makes House of the Dragon soundtrack so great. I really hope that it's given you a greater appreciation for the quality of this score. And I hope you join me next time, where we'll dive into more soundtracks and composers. Thank you so much for watching. Please do like, subscribe and comment, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.